Hello. Hey, Trey.
Hey, Marie, how are you doing?
Good. Hey, so check it out. I'm calling you for YouTube
Okay.
because I want to ask you a few questions because I think that some of the stuff that you have helped me with is going to really help my viewers.
Okay.
So, first of all, I want to thank you because I have a lot of people that call me and write me every day, saying, I want to help you. I need you to help me. I need you to help me. And I need you to help me. And you and Homer have been like two of the only few that have actually gotten in contact with me and said, wait a minute, I can help you. I want to help you take your detox to the next level. So I want to thank you for that, first of all.
Oh, you're quite welcome, and I want to thank you for helping me on some stuff as well.
Okay, and I also want to put it out there that if there was ever a male counterpart of me, it would be you. Because you can challenge me like one for one. So, okay, so I want to talk to you about, first of all, grounding. Because you felt so strongly about grounding that you actually went and got me this great kit, which did you tell me that it's no longer available in the U.S.? It's only available in England, or what was going on
Well,
with that?
there's certain parts. A lot of the grounding stuff. If you are a little bit sort of technically savvy, you can make yourself. But it's for the average person. It's usually easier to buy the accessories that allow you to get grounded. Now, some of the bands that they used to sell in the U.S. market and the Australian market, for some reason, they stopped selling in those two markets, and you can only get those from the Europe or the UK market. I don't understand why they did that.
Right.
Sort of a mystery. But I talked to several people with the company, and anyway, that's with earthing.com. I forget the UK site, but just want to refer your listeners to that. That's EARTHING.com. That's the premier site. I think that's by the person who sort of pioneered the research on this in the 1970s. So this technology has been around for some time, but it's just now starting to gain, pretty good popularity. So,
right. Okay. So basically, what you're doing is you get this little kit and you kind of plug it into a light switch to ground, and it has two cables coming off of it, and there's some patches that almost look like, I don't know, when you're getting your heart checked out, and you put those, attach those to the bottom of your feet, and then you attach those cords onto these patches, and it starts grounding you, correct?
Correct. Now, what you're doing there is you're actually connecting. It's as if you were outside walking barefoot. You're sort of creating that inside a house that's insulated. Mm-hmm. For example, if your feet, basically to explain grounding, I want to go back to the beginning. Most people don't probably know this, but there is about 30 lightning strikes per second that hit the Earth worldwide. So the Earth is constantly getting charged. In other words, it's a current recharge system with the lightning.
This is daily.
And they know 30 times a second. So about 3 million times a day. There's a lightning strike every day.
I just want to make sure, because when you said lightning strikes, a lot of people are going to think, oh, that's during a storm. But you're talking about every single day, right?
Yeah, every day there's on average 3 million lightning strikes that hit the Earth.
Wow.
I mean, the way the Earth stays charged like it is, it's got a certain charge. And grounding is sort of a primordial thing. In other words, it's been with us since the beginning. It's one of the things that, regardless of whether you believe the evolution approach or the creation approach,
right?
We are designed genetically to operate on the same frequency as the Earth is. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's primordial.
The Tesla theory. Because he believed that.
Yeah, and so what they've concluded is that in modern society we've been insulated from that.
Right.
In other words, we've lost our connection, and basically what the grounding does is it brings back that capability to reconnect, which they have determined is very, very healthy on the body. Also on that earthing.com site, just to also wanted to let your readers know, there's a audio book that is free.
Oh, cool.
So in MP3 format, I believe. So they can learn a lot more because there's so much to tell about grounding.
Right.
But in a nutshell, it's considered the master antioxidant. In other words, the key thing of inflammation is oxidation, and the main thing that causes that is stress.
I see. Okay, so Trey, let's say somebody didn't have all the money, to buy one of these, or they didn't have a friend who sent it to them like you did. Can you still get the same effects by going out, let's say on your lawn barefoot, or let's say laying on a blanket underneath the stars for a while? Or just laying down and getting sunshine in the middle of the day? Can you still ground that way?
You can, but you don't. The blanket would be sort of like an insulator, so your skin needs to be touching the ground.
Oh, gotcha.
So now, in other words, the best place to ground is like walking along the ocean, right where the waves are.
Oh, yes.
Because it's wet and it's so conductive. I mean,
take me to the ocean. I'm there.
Right. But here's an illustration. For example, if you're standing on concrete,
right,
outside, barefoot, you're still grounded because of the concrete has limestone in there, which is a natural substance which is conductive. Okay. So you're still conductive. But now, as soon as you step on a synthetic surface like asphalt that has the petroleum that acts as an insulator, and it pretty much wipes out the grounding.
I see.
But now if you're on grass is best, or surf is best, and then second best is concrete, and then when you go on asphalt you lose your ground pretty much. Or if you go onto wood, like a house with a wood floor,
right,
which is typical, so you're not grounded at all.
Okay, now you believe in this so much that you actually sleep on the floor, right?
Well, that's sort of a different story. That's for a chiropractic effect.
But you can still ground that way, right?
Yeah, and actually that's when you want to ground most, because during your sleep it provides an easy time for a long duration of grounding. In other words, you want to maximize your time. 8-9
hours. Right.
It's the best time to do it in your sleep.
Okay, so now I live in a modular home, which is like 2 feet up above the ground. So me sleeping on the floor of my home is not going to help me in any way, shape, or form, right?
Not as far as grounding. Now it will help you, with alignment as far as from a chiropractic standpoint. But as far as grounding, no, because the wood floor acts as insulator. Even if you were a couple inches above the ground. And then still were sleeping on the floor, which would be the wood and probably some carpet, adding some carpet, it would insulate you from you. You still would not be grounded. You've actually it's got to be a connection. And what's so key about the feet is because the feet, at the ball of the feet, are sort of like the kidney point,
right?
The kidney surface at the bottom of each feet. That's where there's the most concentration of meridians where the energy transfer takes place, as if you're walking.
Okay, and that's one of the main reasons that I wanted to share this, is because the minute, I really didn't have a lot of faith in it, but the minute I put these things on, it was like my kidneys lit up.
I experienced something similar to that.
Telling you.
And the only way I can explain it is, it felt like my body was smiling from the inside out, as if it was trying to tell me, you finally figured it out. I mean, that's how...
My body was tingling, and it was just... My king knees were just on it. It was just unreal what I started feeling with the grounding. And now I do it every night. I will not go to bed without
Okay.
grounding myself. It just won't do it.
And here's, just to carry that point a little further, what they said, and the reason that they say that this is better for you than anything you can take orally as far as your health goes, it's considered the master antioxidant, because when you are grounded, I mean, it's like all your wiring's there, but when you're not grounding, it's like imagine your house, say somebody stripped out 50% of your wiring of your house,
right?
You come home, you flip a switch, this room may not cut on. But when you're grounded, all that wiring is restored.
Right, gotcha.
So, and all bodily processes are improved when you ground. These are based on laboratory tests, which they can see in the ebook, clinical laboratory test. Oxygen absorption significantly increased. Muscle efficiency significantly increased. Organ functioning significantly increased. Blood flow, cellular
I believe that.
Blood cells, blood flows easier. So, and the rate at which your circulation, your blood flows good is sort of dependent on the health of your blood, and ergo the health of your blood is also highly dependent on how well it's flowing.
Right. Now, I just want to put this out there.
It's healthy for all of your body. There's nothing else you can do what grounding can do, and there's no comparison to it, really.
Right. And one thing I do want to put out there is you are not associated with like earthing.com or earthing in any way, right? You just love what it does.
It's just a common thing. If anybody were to Google earthing or grounding, it's going to pop up, number one, in Google. So no, I'm not affiliated in any way.
Right. Okay, so the second thing that I wanted to talk to you.
Good resource. Sorry.
Right. No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bust in on you. Another thing that I want to discuss with you that you also suggested for me, which literally blew my mind, was raw coconut butter.
Oh, yes.
You told me to get on coconut butter, and you told me to take 2 teaspoons a day, correct?
Right, and ideally the one between breakfast and lunch and another between lunch and dinner. Just whatever time works for you,
right.
Schedule and all that.
Okay.
So those will be the times. And all right, so what questions do you have about that?
So Trey, why am I going to do coconut butter instead of coconut oil? Why not coconut oil? Because I got coconut oil up the wazoo in there.
That is a very good question, and I'd like to draw an analogy with vitamin C, for example.
Okay.
Because that's a nice one to look at.
Okay.
And it all has to do with how close is something to nature. If you look at coconut oil, it's isolated from the coconut. It doesn't have all the constituents that coconut butter has, because coconut butter has the oil and the coconut and the fiber, the whole coconut. So looking at it from that standpoint, it's more of a natural whole food.
Right.
Even though it's processed because it's pureed, it's the whole coconut pureed instead of the oil that's isolated.
Gotcha.
So anything that's more closer to a natural substance like that, it's going to be easier for the body to absorb, assimilate, and use, because it matches things that exist in nature, and that's just the way we're wired. And the same thing with vitamin C. I mean, I know you've seen it in the store, the ascorbic acid, 500 milligram little white chalky pills. Those aren't, by the time that gets in your stomach and dissolves, you're getting nothing from that as far as vitamin C. But now if you go with a natural whole food complex, such as amla berry,
right,
or a camu, right. Amla berry, I prefer. It's probably the best.
Right.
It's not a high milligram, but it's so strong. It has a higher half-life, and it's the body can use it because it has the full spectrum of the complex, the different seed complexes.
Right.
So it's more of a natural. So anything, and it just goes back to that. Anything that anything that we put in our body, the closer it is to nature, the more efficient we're going to be able to use it, and the more efficient it's going to help our health.
You need it bioavailable to your body.
Yeah. And so that's why the coconut butter works so good, because you're getting more nutrition for it, and your body's able to do it. Now, I don't know if you wanted me to mention about the ribonucleic acid sort of salivary brainstem thing. That's key to it, and that's key to anything.
Yeah, because you told me you can't just take a teaspoon and shove it in your mouth and gulp it down. There's actually a certain way that you told me that I had to eat this for it to work correctly, right?
Right.
So explain that to me.
What this does is it maximizes both the absorption and the assimilation. In other words, when you do this procedure of the RNA or ribonucleic acid brain stamping.
Okay, brain stamping.
And basically that's just short for basically your RNA. There's part of your saliva is living. Saliva, it's RNA. It's basically your brain is signaling it.
Right.
And it's the marker. And so by keeping the coconut butter in this particular case, or whatever superfood it was, what may be, by fully keeping it there for that brain, to give time for that brain to recognize and to send those messengers through the RNA, at that point right there, if you allow that little bit of time, it basically, the body's already figured out what it's going to do with it from beginning to end.
Okay, so when you eat it, you want to take it and you want to allow it to sit in your mouth for a while and kind of melt on its own. You don't want to gulp it down, correct?
Right. You want to let it fully liquefy. And this is true with any superfood that's palatable. Now, you wouldn't want to do this, of course, with cayenne or any harsh spice like turmeric because it would be just too unpleasant. But, I'll do this with paprika, let it fully liquefy. Paprika powder, that's another prime example. That's a really good superfood. Most people overlook. It's one of the top sources of lycopene, but that's beyond the scope. But the brain stamp thing, anything you do, whether it's, I don't want to say conventional food, but like, say, just regular fruits and vegetables, the more you can allow that connection with the brain and the saliva, the better your body will be able to use what the better your digestion
because
will
digestion starts in the mouth.
You'll be able to use more. You'll get more from what you're eating.
Right. And this stuff, it doesn't actually taste like coconut oil. It almost tastes like coconut fudge.
So that's what I call it.
So it's very easy. It's very easy to want to get carried away with it. So you have to be very careful, right?
You do, and that's why, that's where it comes, sort of trying to listen to your body. It's all right to indulge a little bit it could be your body saying you need that, because the liver needs roughly about 10 pounds of natural, good quality fat to regenerate every 2 months.
Right. Yeah, because I always believe that fat was no good and fat is only going to make you fat, and actually this fat is supposed to be really good for you, for the liver. Right. Yeah,
coconuts are the best fats for human by far, followed probably by avocados.
Okay.
Coconuts are highly resemble the fat in the brain. In other words, it's real easy. The brain uses coconut butter very efficiently. The coconut butter is one of the most efficient forms of energy for the body, and that's why it's so effective, to cell metabolism.
Right. Okay, so let me tell you, like 3 days after you put me on this stuff, my body started dumping liver flukes.
Liver flukes.
Which is a parasite. And because I sent you the picture. And I was going to the bathroom and vomiting, parasite eggs and baby ones and a little bit larger ones. And I'm actually going to post that picture as the cover for this video so people can get an idea of what they look like. But you can also Google liver fluke eggs and you can see what it was that I was passing. But coconut oil never did that for me. This stuff.
It did. And that raises another point that I can illustrate upon, because it's natural like that. It does have the oil in there, but because the body can use it more effectively,
right?
All of those qualities that they list for coconut oil are maximized when it's more of a natural state. In other words, you lose, because the oil has been sitting around who knows how long on a shelf. It's isolated, and by the time it gets in our system, our body's going like, hey, this doesn't have priority. But when you do the coconut butter, it recognizes it instantaneously, especially if you do the RNA stamp.
Well, this stuff changed my life.
It's natural. What now?
Literally, this stuff is changing my life.
Yeah. It is phenomenal. And another nice thing that I'll bring up about this, and I think I was telling you about, is that because we both agree with the term coconut fudge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It will help cravings because it
Oh,
satisfies
yes.
that urge for fat and sugar.
Yes.
It's balanced, but it's not overly glycemic. It's just
Right.
so. Not only does it help in all those other areas, it also helps with craving, and it is one of the most significant things to really expound your metabolism, and that's. I mean, it's such an efficient source of fuel. That's pretty bad. They sum it up really.
And you actually like this brand, the Artisana Organics?
Yeah, I've tried about 3 or 4 different brands, and that's the one that I prefer the best. It seems to have the best texture. It seems to have the best freshness and the taste. So
I agree.
Sometimes to find, but I usually grab 2 or 3 jars if I find it at a time. So
okay.
But it is. I'm sure you can get it on. On
you
the
can
web.
get it on the internet. I get it at my health food store. They have it, and everything else. Well, listen, Trey, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know it's your Saturday.
Okay.
But
I guess we didn't get a chance to talk about the cayenne, but maybe that might be a future one. Maybe.
Yes, I do. I want to hit you up on another video because there's a certain vitamin that you told me about that I had no idea that helps out your adrenals and is supposed to help out with insulin and everything else.
Oh, okay.
And I want you to tell my tubers all about it. And I want you to tell them about the cayenne because there's a lot of people that don't know. I mean, you're a huge cayenne user, and I've started using it, and that has also changed my life. And I wanted to get that information out too to my followers so that they knew what was going on. But before I leave in front of all my YouTubers, I want to tell you, Trey, I love you from the bottom of my heart, and I cannot begin to thank you enough for taking me to this next level of detoxification. And I'm sure today you're going to help tons of people out here. And I just appreciate you so much taking the time to talk to me, even though we talk daily as friends. But taking the time to talk, talk to my viewers on YouTube. And you also have a channel, correct? You have a channel you just recently started.
Yeah, sorry, in its infancy stage. I mean, I only have like about 30.
That's all right. We all have to start somewhere.
Videos.
That's okay. I started with 2 viewers. And I mean, look where I am now. So, what is your YouTube channel?
Organic 1112.
Organic 1112. And this is Trey Holland. And you're in South Carolina.
Oh yeah. South Carolina.
All right, and I'm in New Mexico because everybody's always asking that. Where are you? Do you really live in New Mexico? Yes, I do. So,
and again, I want to thank you too because you've really shared a lot with me, and I've learned a lot as well. So
I'd say if we split an apple in half, I'm the left side, you're the right, man, because we can challenge each other one for one. You know that. So,
talk a tightrope.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Trey, for being on here. And like I said, I definitely want to have you back so you can discuss these other things. And hopefully, we're going to be meeting soon. And I'll actually have you on my YouTube channel.
That sounds awesome.
All right. Okay, we'll talk to you later.
Okay.
All right.
Have a great one.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. Until next time, please stay happy, stay healthy. Please check out the coconut butter. Check out the earthing. I swear to you, it will change your life. Till next time. Bye-bye.